Hey everybody, it's Kevin from 3D Printed Props, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I printed, painted, and added some little extras to this incredibly detailed Sandman, the Endless statue. So this is just a beautiful, beautiful STL. I love the pose of it, the fabric, just the expression. It's the textures. It's not one of mine. It's actually by a creator who goes by, it might be his name, I don't know. Hopefully I'm saying it close to right, but it's Invictus Cardosa. And his links are below to his Patreon and his ArtStation, so you can take a look at his work. And I just love it. It's very expressive, I love the pose, the texture on the skin, the muscle ripples. Really, really, really cool work. So I signed up to be a patron of his, and so you'll be seeing some of his work on the channel. But really, really dug this. Now, if you watched any of my other videos, you know I'm a huge comic book fan, and this is another comic book that, like the Invincible model that we did, this is another character who, man, I love this comic. I collected it off the shelf back in the Vertigo days of DC, and from issue 1 all the way straight through, and love it. Love the comic. Got all the comics. I've got all the absolutes. Yes, I have a lot of comic books. Funny thing is, I haven't watched the show yet. I started it and I kind of lost track of it. There's so much on. I do mean to go back and watch the show just because I just like to see how they treat the character. So let's go ahead and just get right behind the fake wall. And if you're ever wondering what's behind the fake wall, if you look at my TikTok account, I just did a quick little video of how disgustingly messy it was until I cleaned it back there. Go to my TikTok account, look it up, and you can see behind the fake wall. But let's go behind the fake wall, and I'll show you how I printed and painted and did some finishing touches to this to really make it pop. So you can see there are a bunch of parts, and of course printing them on a resin printer. Look at the detail in the hair. Yeah, I got to do some cleaning up. I still got to do a little bit of sanding, but not a lot. The helmet looks great. I look at the texture in the sort of tunic. It just is going to be so great to paint. And the skin tone, look at that. Not tone, but the texture of it. The muscling, really, really nice. Then I'm going to pop the head on using the Bob Super Glue. It's stuff I love. All the links are below and everything that I use. I don't care for it when modelers, though, do the necks like this, where the sort of neck sits into this V. Some people do it this way. Other people just have the head pop on, because that and how these meet up are weird. They're weird ways to glue things that you end up having to use things like epoxy sculpt, which I love, hardens up and you can sand it. But I'm going to use that to fill in the neckline. And since it kind of diminishes the necklace, I'm going to roll the stuff really thin and make a new necklace out of it. And this way, you won't even tell it's there. Now, I mixed up this paint using my airbrush, and it isn't just like sort of white and black to make it gray. It's white. It's like a touch of black and some blue, because I wanted to give it that sort of otherworldly sort of skin tone, and I really, really am happy with it. The blue really shows through. Now we're going to do the helm. A lot of little pieces, parts to print with this, which was really kind of fun, because like the helmet's its own thing right there. You've got to do the chrome, you got to put that leather tone in there, and then later, of course, we're going to go ahead and weather this, just because I want the helm to be weathered and old looking, because it is, well, millions and millions of years old. And you can start to see that texture in there. I went with a purple because it's sort of like a royal color, and he is the Lord of Dreams, and I thought that would look really, really nice. Of course, a black for the hair, and I was going to put in some highlights, but I kind of like it just straight black, and just it seems more sort of deep color that way. I don't want highlights. I want it to be just black. Now, I love this stuff U-Paul. I've been using it a lot lately. Again, this seam just doesn't line up really well. It's a really awkward glue, so I did that. Look at that brush. It is so tiny. Links below if you're doing eyes. This is the thing to use. I am just getting in there and just trying to do it right. But I didn't put my goggles on, so you can see that they're a little wonky. Now, this isn't the same brush that I use for the eyes. It's a different brush. But you can see I'm painting the necklace that I'm pretty much just built on my own while getting paint all over his body. I ended up having to mask parts off to repaint that. So for this, I just did a dry brush. It's just a black with like a gray, and I'm dry brushing and hitting all those details. And later on, I will put a flat clear coat because rocks aren't that shiny. And you can see that just the dry brushing, raking a dry brush over, really, really makes things stand out. Now I'm using this sort of bluish patina-y looking color for the waves that are here. Because, you know, waves, it's sort of like a sea foamy color. I actually use it for, you know, patina on brass, but and now I'm hitting it with a white because the tips of the waves, the white caps are white, and I just wanted to add a little bit more depth in it. And then later on I will give that a clear gloss, like a thick gloss, so it has that sort of a wet look. Now I'm just going to go ahead and not redo, but paint all this purple material before we start going in on the details. And you can see on the rock, just what that dry brush will do, it just skates across the top and it really, really defines everything. Then I'm going to go through and paint all the other areas black. I'll tell you, sometimes this Vallejo paint goes on so well that you don't even need a second coat. I think I had to give this, the belt system here, 2 coats, or maybe, no, not 2, that'd been normal, 3 coats to actually fill in. I do not understand what was going on, but what are you going to do? Then we're going to do the little bag of sand over on the side and weather this helmet up a little bit. This is just water and some acrylics, basics. I'm dabbing it away to give it more a natural look, filling in some of the cracks where, of course, the dirt would go. Remember, when we weather, follow the design of the piece. Then we're going to make it look even more richy here, and we're going to add some gold. And now I'm going to do the sand. Now, I'm not happy with the sand. I should have used a fine sand, but I went ahead and used this stuff. I'm putting some clear acrylic on and then moving the sand around with this sacrificial brush. And then I'm hitting it with a UV light to actually harden that up because I wanted the sandy look. But look at this dry brushing, look at the patterning on this that we saw earlier. Again, just skating a brush over it. You pick that pattern up and really, really give depth to the piece. But you want to make sure you have like almost no paint on the brush when you do this. Now it's time to glue it up. So we're going to glue the legs on and get those to stay in place. Get a little bit of force and hold it for a second and then put it on the base. Really, really sharp looking. I love just the pose of this model and how it looks. Now I got to fix the eyes because those look bad. And I'm going to use these. I love these things. I use them for soldering. I use them for painting. I use them for all kinds of stuff. And you can see there's a little light on it. And you can get in there with that little like 2-hair brush and really, really get the job done. His eyes look so much better. So I'm going to glue this up. And this had a lot of odd glue joints, but I guess this makes a lot of sense. Why not hide the glue joint under a drape? I love that. So let's take a look at the full statue, fully put together and looking pretty cool. So I love these details. I love I was able to work on my airbrushing, and I can't wait to print out more from this guy because they are awesome. Now, if I could fix one thing on it, I know what everyone's probably saying. The sand looks terrible. I'll say it. It's too chunky. It's brown. I'm not a fan of it. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is print this arm off again and then just snap it off and do it again. This time I'm going to use just like a really white, super fine sand, which I should have went and bought in the first place. I just didn't feel like going to Lowe's and looking for sand like that. And I had this. And then once I did it, I was like, super happy with the rest of the model. But this is where sometimes when you do something, you look at it and you're like, I love everything about it, but all I can see is that hideous sand. Now, you might like the sand. Tell me whether you hate or like the sand in the description. I'm going to change it anyway because it's just too clunky for me. But the rest of it came out really, really well. I love again, just the texture of the muscle and the cloth. I'm getting better and better with an airbrush, even though I just sort of painted it, you know, the skin tones on. But at least I'm getting better with an airbrush, cleaning it and being able to use it more than once. So it was a real fun one. I'm really enjoying it. Check out the creator down below in the description. Support him on Patreon if you love his stuff, because it is really sharp and he's got some really cool models. Well, that's it, guys. Hope you liked the video. Take it easy, and I will see you in the next one.